You mentioned the cameras. Have you ever seen Last Chance U on Netflix?
I have. I have.
Yeah, I've become really good friends with Jason Brown, who was on
Okay.
seasons 3 and 4, and
Yeah.
he was briefly of Kansas City Chief.
Mhm.
I remember, but I know he's done some interviews, and he's going to be on the podcast later this month. And I do want to ask him about this. I know in some interviews he mentioned that the cameras were kind of a distraction, and that's why they really struggled the second season when they were on the show. Now, granted, I mean those are college kids, and you guys are pros in the NFL, but you did allude to this. I mean, they see you're pissed off, and the cameras and the microphone. Oh, okay, let's go follow this guy. And I remember they were showing Damon Heward, and they were just following him while he's trying to talk to his family through Skype or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Um, what was it like when those cameras were following you? Because I think a lot of people have this perception of that Hard Knocks can be a distraction and it can kind of irritate the players. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely, 100%. I tell people this all the time that that year that we had Hard Knocks was probably one of the worst years that we had team-wise, just dealing with things. And a lot of it is, it's not just a distraction of it, but what you start finding out from guys is everybody starts trying to play to the camera.
Okay.
So that's a lot of it. Everybody's trying to, become their own little, actor or Hollywood. Listen, look, we up here to do a job, okay? The cameras sometimes coming in and capturing things, fine. But, being as intrusive as they are, complete distraction. And so it takes away from your focus on what it is that you have to do. And now all of a sudden you start becoming a ham to the camera. And Jason is absolutely right, man. It absolutely destroys teams. Absolutely destroys teams because some guys just don't understand how to embrace having these things and not making a distraction. Because then all of a sudden the camera's in there and you're like trying to look at the camera and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my God, this is just terrible. Nobody's paying attention like you should. And so what I seen, and I'll say this, look, this is my opinion on it. I said, her coming from New York was a media guy. That's who he was, kind of a coach in a sense, because he hammed it up, played for the camera. I thought, and look, that's his personality, right? He's a colorful guy. He was a color analyst. That's who Herm was. So that's why he was very good on TV, because he could play to that. And I think that's why he might have accepted it, because coming from a big media place like New York, he was more used to it. And so when you bringing these to, like you said, young guys, because you guys are still young, 21, 22 years old coming in the NFL.
Yeah, there were a lot of young guys on that team that year.
Yes. And the thing is, you have expectations of what you think the NFL is. And so what you do is you try to play to that, that character or actor or whoever you are, as opposed to being organic. And so you start seeing veteran players doing the same thing, right? And so the focus went off of what was going on the field to more so like, how am I going to look this week on Hard Knocks? Completely ridiculous. So, I mean, I was just against it. I think there probably needs a better job of how you control the cameras in itself, where they're able to do their work, kind of make it organic, where guys are not playing to it, but still not being so intrusive where, you're taken away from, guys being focused on what they need to do. But 100%, man. I mean, Jason, when you talk to him, you tell him Jason Dunn agrees. Jason Dunn absolutely agrees. Worst season ever with Kansas City. To me, it was that start that put us to where we were at that year. So.
I remember John Embry. He has 2 kids, and I went to high school with his kids, and okay. I think word was he didn't care about the show, but he always got the gist from his kids, what made it on TV and whatnot. I would imagine in the hotel they didn't have HBO, but did you or did any of the players try to watch the show as it would air, or maybe the next day, just to see what was on HBO?
Yeah, I was finding guys were doing that. Guys was watching it. I didn't watch it. I was just like, man, look, first off, we're living it for one. 2, we got a job to do. I'm man, it's TV. It's, you know, it's Hollywood. And so, like I said before, some of it is just playing to the cameras. You know, you're not in your natural state like you want to be, right? Being yourself. There were some moments where, you know, you do capture, because guys like me and Tony getting on each other. I'm gonna say this, because they had a lot of times that we were getting on each other. And Tony had some of the creative process. They would ask him about him, what can I put on camera? And I'm just like, man, you missed a whole lot of me digging on him. Man. You know, so it was like some of those things, as far as like the production part of it was a little crazy. But there was, look, there's some funny moments that was captured. But ultimately, to me, I just feel like it was just a distraction. But, you know, that's TV.
Yeah.
That's how TV works, right?